Where did that go? Oh my gosh, my stream thing. Anyway, how did that happen? Here we go, another day in the hello everybody, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. This stupid thing with the backgrounds, they put this stuff here and it doesn't work. I got that video clip, I pressed it and nothing happened.
Yeah, that happens to me sometimes too. Like, so I always, before I do a show now, I'll play it a time or two. So, because otherwise the first time around is choppy. And so if that's your first time, so that's something to think of. Yeah. Just to play it before we go on.
Maybe. Anyway, we're live and in person. Without the trailer in front of us. That's why I like the StreamYard, because I can play that little trailer. But I don't know why it didn't play this time. I clicked the wrong thing, or there's all these things. I don't know. It just
we were talking, folks. That's what it was. I distracted Robert, and so the bus driver was off his game.
I was clicking buttons. I got things on my mind. I'm thinking of times gone by in my memory, and it was good times back then. But anyway, we're going to move on to forwarding times that we're living in now and see what happens. And tonight we're going to have a great discussion. We're back to the Spiritual Science book, everybody, by Augie Noss. I hope I got that right now instead of Aggie, Augie. Yeah, I gotta tune into my Norwegian voice there. Maybe you could teach me some Norwegian. Can you speak Norwegian?
Oh yeah, that's my first language.
There you go.
Yeah, English is my second language. So actually, to be honest with you, my mom was in Norway when she had me, and she didn't speak any Norwegian. My grandmother, where they lived, she didn't speak any English. So I don't know how those two women communicated, but I had one language on each ear. So it literally, both languages are my mother's tongue, honestly.
Wow.
So yeah.
That is so cool. English is my first and my only language. And got Free Life. He says English is my first language. Free Life, do you have a second language? Anyway, I got a good question for you. If I was deaf and I couldn't hear anything, what language would I talk to in my head? You know how like you talk to yourself in your head?
Right. That is a good question. I don't know. That is a good question. You should ask a deaf person that.
That is, I just kind of,
because I would, and actually I remember when I was little, I lived right next door to the school where they were. I guess I don't know if they do that nowadays, but yeah, it was just like deaf people's school. So anyways, I had one of my best friends was deaf, and I don't know how we communicated either, but we did. Like I did my thing, she did her thing, and we just somehow we did communicate. And a lot of it is, body language, and it's way more than just, your words, right?
Yep.
So it's amazing how kids, how we did that. Like, yeah. So, but that's a question you should ask a deaf person, because I don't know. Or you know what it would be? It's because, oh no, they can't. Yeah, I don't know. They can't hear anything, and I don't know. I have no idea. Oh my God, I'm gonna be thinking about that tonight now, not be able to sleep.
It's an interesting thought, though. I just thought about it because, in my head, I'm talking to myself.
Right.
And I'm like, well, what if I was deaf and I didn't know what my voice sounded like? Maybe I could hear the vibrations, but how did that translate into words? I don't know.
It's just maybe just pictures then. So instead of, hearing the word sun, they're picturing the sun.
Yeah.
Like, so just do it that way, and then there's feelings too, sometimes there's actually a lot more communication that goes on other than words. And that is so true. Like feelings, it's very hard to kind of, how do you explain that? Or like the color blue, how do you explain that? Like, but they would see in color, or it could be a feeling, or it could be, somehow they know, obviously, right? What you're talking about. Or Yeah, and then early on they learn the sign language, so that would be another thing that they would probably have flashes of the sign language in their mind rather than words.
That
Would be my guess. I don't know, but
could possibly be. If I could just interview a deaf person and they knew what I was
I'm
saying,
like, what?
well, we
What?
yeah, that would be quite the interesting show. You know,
Yeah.
and then
Why you don't understand?
the sign language stuff. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know how that works, but anyway, it would be hilariously funny.
Oh my god.
I'm glad we can have a good time with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, paging through this book now. Hopefully, everybody, you've read the book, you've went through it. Augie's going to be on this Sunday on Nina's channel, and we will be interviewing him, asking him all kinds of questions, and hopefully you can send us your questions earlier so we can have them prepped and ready. We will mention you by name if you want us to, the who asked the question, or you can just be private and just ask the question, and we will mention it. Here's the thing, or you can put it in the comments of that day, and we'll try to monitor your comments for who has what questions. But we also have questions, and we're going to discuss some stuff. So what we're going to do is jump a little bit ahead in the book, I think, so we can get because there's a lot more into the book than what we just read. So, let's start out with some of these things. Okay. There's a part in there where he talks about memory, if I can, and it says how memory works. How do you think the memory works?
Why don't you read a little bit of that for us so that we kind of get
I'm trying to find it here, and I got bookmarks.
because my memory isn't that good, you see.
Yes. I marked so many pages now. Well, maybe we have to skip
He
that one.
can't remember where he was at, you see.
Yeah.
So
Okay, here we'll go to this. Let's see. I got marks and marks and marks. Which see, these little markers are really helpful, but then they don't tell you which one it was.
Well, while you do that, I can just plug the whole. If you
Yeah,
guys
why
would
don't
like
you
to
plug
read
it?
the book and you don't have the money, however, it's only $23 on Amazon. You can have it tomorrow if you like. Okay. If not, go to my Gilded. Okay. You can get a free PDF there or email us. We can send you the free PDF as well. Okay. And you guys can read ahead. I highly recommend it, especially if you guys are enjoying the content here. I would highly recommend to get the book so that you can kind of go a little further with this, right? And keep, even when we're done, you can still read it and share it and practice it and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Okay, here we go. I found it now. Yeah, and don't forget to get over to Nina's and get yourself some Anacarana. Like I got my Anacarana shirt on and my Anacarana. I'm so happy with that hat. I love that hat with the Anacarana on it.
Yeah, it looks good on you. Yeah, you guys, if you want to support the stream and get yourself some Anacarana, I think I am the only place online that is selling it. So head on over there. Just use the Streamlabs link. I think you have it down in the comment section or in the description. Yep. If not, you'll find it all over the place on my channel, Nina the Mystic. So yeah.
Yep. Anyway, okay, I found it, and I'm going to read a little bit out of this. How memory works. It's on page 187. If you wanted to check that out in your own book, it's chapter 38. How memory works. It's a hard thing to understand to have a little more rounded understanding of memory. You may consider this. There are several types of memory. See, this I didn't know. But we have short-term memory, long-term memory. I guess we just take that memory for granted, don't we? Eidetic memory. Eidetic memory is when you can bring up pieces of memory you are looking for and visually see it in front of you. There's also something called logic memory, or spiritual Loki, or logic, or Loki, I guess. Spiritual memory, soul memory, past life memory, which is we talk about that a lot here too. Yep. And yeah, okay.
I'm gonna share it. Do you want me to share the PDF?
Well, if you have it ready, I will put it up.
I don't have it ready, but I can probably fish it out.
Well, while I'm reading, if you
I
wanted to
could
do
do that.
you go right ahead. And I was just going to read this first paragraph out of there, but if you can find it that fast and put that up, maybe we should just have that on hand. I could find it too. I guess I got it pretty easily somewhere, but then I'm driving the bus and reading too. Well, anyway, they overlap. We talk about past life memory too. How is that even possible? Considering we're in this life, which is part of our soul memory and the universal conscious memory. There's a lot of memory there, people. How they all overlap and interact in different ways. All memories are part of the accessible are accessible from the universal conscious memory, because everything is connected to the part of the universal conscious mind. All memories have one thing in common: they will never reach conscious understanding unless the conscious mind gets out of the way and allows for the deeper memories to reach the surface. This is why we must train our consciousness mind to do what we want it to do. And again, you got to practice. You got to play around with it. You got to, you can't just jump on the bicycle and ride it for the first time. You got to fall down a few times and scrape your knees. So that's the big thing. All these different types of memories, but they're all tied to that universal consciousness. And once you learn to tap into that, that comes like it's like getting on the internet and typing into Google, I would imagine. Well,
so how do I share my thing with you?
It should say present on present on the bottom. And then it just slides extra video file and share screen.
No, there's none of that. I just got mute stop settings. Present.
Yeah, present.
Share screen.
Yep, share screen.
And where are you? Window.
Yep, you got to have it open in a window and then click on the thing. It should be up in the. Yeah, there you go. I can see it.
Okay. So I don't know how far you went down there now. This is the first page.
There. Look at that.
Did you read that whole page? Where are you?
Well, yeah, I read the whole thing there. Okay. But we can definitely use it in the next one.
Okay. I'll go back into studio.
We are, you can find the love.
Find you now. Oh my God. Oh, here we are.
We're going to do love next because we got Michelle Can-Am Free in the house. And she's our love child there. If you can find, I wish they had a chapter thing in here for love, but anyway, yeah. Opening for love, page 254.
Is that what we're doing right now?
We're going to do that next. Chapter 37, page 254. And
that's ways off. It takes me a while to scroll, guys. Let's see, how far did I get? 40? No. What chapter did you say?
I said chapter 37, page 254. That's where we're going to go next. We're going to talk.
This is chapter 43, and that's on page 219, according to this one. So the PDF is a little different.
250. The opening for love. That's what we're going to do next.
Okay, what chapter again was that? Sorry.
No, it's page 254. It just says opening for love. It doesn't say. Right. And I don't know why it disappeared there. I hit a button. I have too many buttons to hit, Sometimes. I tell you, this computery stuff. gets you. Luckily, I don't panic anymore. Let's see. Steve-O says DNA connection to memory. You know, our audience is
Part
so
two.
smart.
Part 2 of the book.
Yeah, page 2. Yep, 251, 254. There you
Opening
go,
for
right there.
love.
Yeah,
All
that's what
right.
we're going to do a little bit next. We're going to
All
jump
right.
around here all over the place. I got some bookmarkers. We're going to work our way back to the beginning. Steve-O says DNA of connection to the memory, which is connected to the memory of those who came before us and passed on. You know, I think that is something that could definitely be, um, you know, represented there. I do think there's a connection to that. I wouldn't throw that out with the baby with the bathwater with that one. Now, I mean, I know we have a connection to source or the conscious, universal consciousness and stuff, but I do think that whatever it is in our DNA. I think that is somewhere in there. Um, Okay, well, let's move on to the love thing. Shell Can-Am Free's in the house. Free Life is in the house, and Lucky Stone, Witching Moon. She says she's listening. Hugs everyone. Steve-O is in the house too, so we got a good crowd going on, and I encourage everybody to participate as much as you can because this is kind of interesting. Like I said, you got any questions, ask us now. We'll discuss them. And Posey, hey, Posey, there you go. Opening for love. Okay, here, once you start visualizing and working with love, you will learn how to open the floodgates of your heart and mind and flood your body with healing and abundance. You will surround yourself, your family, and everything you have to do with love. When you fall in love with someone, the valve in your heart will open up automatically, and your body and mind are flooded with love. Even if you fall in love with someone who is not in love with you, you will still feel the love between, or because it is coming from inside you. Love between two people should be matched in type and frequency to be sustainable and grow. When you do this, your radiant love and people can see it. It is like a virus, it spreads. Other people start feeling more love or more loving just by being around you. With enough love in your life, you will be happy. Happiness is universally natural condition. When you are happy, you will know it. Everything else is mind created, self imposed illusion. Mental disease and physical effects. Remember, we are in a mind created universe when we are the creators in each other's universe. There's a lot to be said about love. I mean, here's the thing. I think each of us has been in love at one point in time. You get married, and then Nina, you've been there. You've been married. You were in love. Everything was great.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
now you're not so married anymore. What
Mm-hmm.
happened? you know, where did that
Yeah.
love go? Why did your whole life crash? Why are people, what that's my question. What is love? Did you really know what love was? Or was it something else? And and that's the thing. It's did you radiate with love? Did you realize now as you get older that love has changed in your mind or your heart or whatever? I mean, I have to question it too. I remember when I was younger, you meet somebody or you see something, and boy, you are just full of love in your heart, and boy, you're just floating on air. And now
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing of love has changed in my eyes, the way I feel about it and everything. Uh, Give me your opinion on that.
You know, it comes down to like hormones, and there's something, that happens, I guess, when you meet somebody. There's obviously there's some kind of connection there with this person.
Mm-hmm.
Not what exactly that is, but then it turns into like hormones and like a physical kind of thing, you know and then of course that fizzles off after a while,
Mm-hmm.
you know and
Yeah.
so then you're left with two people. So that's why it's kind of important to not just go by the whole puppy dog love, right? And I think why also arranged marriages work, because ultimately it is a business deal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, it was almost, in one sense, almost easier because your parents chose your mate for you. You didn't have to worry about it. You didn't have to go chasing around. You didn't have to worry about it, and you knew they were going to pick something good so that you would have a good life.
Yeah.
And that's ultimate, and that which is comes right back to ultimate of survival, especially for women. If
Mm.
we didn't marry good, man, our life is, And actually, as a single woman now, I can, even nowadays, it's still the same thing. Like if you're single and you're retiring, like it's not going to be a good life, as it would be if you were married, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
See, and
so these things, yeah, are still going on. So that's the thing, like, and even and this is going to get a little personal, but I remember when I was younger and I went through a bit of a midlife crisis there. I thought, you know what? I actually took on two lovers. Okay. They both knew there was no lying going on. Okay. The one, I'm like, yeah, no, it's just going to be sex. That's it. There's not going to be anything else. It was all, but sure enough, a few months in, feelings start developing. There's
Mhm.
something to it when you get together like that. There's something happening with hormones and something, especially for women. I don't know if it's as much with men, but for women, yeah, we can literally learn to love somebody. And I can see now how arranged marriages, they may not have known the person before, but once you get together and you're together and like that and whatever, the hormone starts going, you do actually, create a love bond there. There is, it develops, it grows on you, literally.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Well,
but
and
then, I feel sorry for the young people because they're watching all these movies and you got all this Hollywood portrayal of what a marriage should look like or what a life should be. And it's not like that at
mm,
all most of the time. Right.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's where they get depressed, and then they feel, oh, well, maybe I didn't marry the right one. So then you leave that one, try something else. And of course that doesn't work either. So I've been there, done that too. I've been married twice. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah. But yeah, so I don't know if that answers your question, but it does come down to hormones
Yeah.
and
Well,
things
see,
like
and
that.
that's the thing that we're talking about. You're talking about people, and you got a lot of hormones and flow and things, and
Mhm.
I think a lot of that is a little bit of a lusting, after that person. But then, what about the world
That fizzles
around
off.
you?
Hmm.
You got love for, the nature and love for whatever. I mean, because once you open yourself up, because a lot of people say, well, you got to be loving person, and then you become happy and you can allow that universal consciousness to enter your mind, and be, you're just radiant, because you're full of love, even though you might not even have a partner, and
Yeah, I was gonna
right
say. I
in
was
a
gonna
higher
say.
vibration too. I
Yeah.
mean, when you
Yes.
talk about having a partner love, that's the easiest one for people to relate to when you
Hmm.
talk about love. But now that we're older, you start looking at it, love as something different, and
Yeah,
now
well,
you
that's
can
what I was
radiate
going to
this.
say. Go back to a little bit what you said earlier there. Um, Quite often we want to get a partner because we think that's going to make us happy, or
Hmm.
this person is going to make you happy,
Hmm.
and that's where marriages fail. And that's one of the mistakes that I made, was thinking that my husband was going to make me happy. And so when
Hmm.
I wasn't happy, I thought, okay, well, it's got to be him. So I got to move on, then try and find happiness.
Hmm.
And that was my mistake, because it's not, another person is not going to make you happy. You have to make yourself happy.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you're, he's there for the ride, but he's not responsible for your happiness. Like, that's a lot of responsibility, really. We
Yeah.
can't place that on another person, right? You're, you know going on this journey of life together, so to speak, but you're still, you're not really that responsible for each other. So that's where, you still got to work on yourself. Like, and for single people, if you're trying to attract, you can't figure out why you're not attracting the right person. Well, you got to start working on yourself first, and get your own house in order, right? Before you start inviting somebody else in. Because otherwise you're just inviting in the same chaos as what's going on inside of you, basically. That's what you're attracting. So it's an endless cycle. So, you have to be working on yourself, all the shadow work, all the stuff that we keep talking about all the time. This is why you do it, so that you can get into a state where you're happy with yourself, happy in your own company. And when other people see you happy, they're going to be attracted to that. They're going to be like, hey, what's going on there? I want some of that,
Yes.
So
if you want to turn the next page, since you're talking about this how to be happy business, because love turns into that. Go to 257. And do you want to read that one, since you're right into that one?
How to be happy. Okay.
Augie, you did it. You went right from love to how to be happy, and it was just like clockwork there. I mean, somehow love transfers into happiness. We determined that on this show. I mean,
well, once you get a little bit older, like some of us here, we figure this out. You see, but unfortunately, 2 divorces late, though. But So I'll read this. How to be happy. People want to be happy and often do strangest things to become happy. Often it is the wrong thing because it is influenced by the ego, and that's so true. The answer may be so much simpler. You have an inexhaustible amount of love available to you. All you have to do is learn how to access it and channel it into your life. You should take advantage of that. It is free. Also, if you're not happy, give trying to find happiness. Let's see. If you're not happy, give trying to find happiness one more try. If what you have tried up until now has not worked for you, try doing it the right way this way this time. Remember the definition of insanity, right? That's exactly what I was just saying too. And I haven't even read this, to be honest. So there you go. We're on the same page here. Definition of insanity. Doing something over and over again and expecting different results. That's the definition right there. And that's what people are doing. Right. So they're, they leave the one partner thinking, oh, I'm going to find somewhere else, picking the same kind of partner. Right. And expecting different results. This is what we're doing, So first love, then happiness affects every cell in your body. Every cell has its own intelligence, including memory, reception, and transmissions of mental and universal consciousness / love vibration. They absorb the love vibration until it is saturated and radiated the rest. When a cell, hang on, I gotta get rid of this. Where is it? There. When a cell is saturated, it will glow with bright white light around it and be restored to perfect health and function according to its intended purpose. The mold then in energy for the physical body is poured into. It is the bioelectromagnetic field around you. You can see some of it with Kirlian photography. The love energy flowing to and through the cells has an enormous healing effect, and the more the better. When the cells of the body are saturated with love, you will know it is an emotional happiness. Even if you may have an illness and you have attained this emotional happiness, try to keep that in your mind constantly. It is very healing and enhances a high state of spiritual awareness.
Well, there you go. I mean, look at that. I mean, and how many people do you know that, do the same thing over and over, or meet the same kind of people, and then they don't look at it and go, why am I always, women, I've heard this many times, I always date the bad boy, and then I always get burnt. Well, why do you keep doing that? I mean, so I mean, it's crazy. And I think that you got to find love. You got to know what feel love, know what love is, not lusting. And then once you get that going on, then you can be happy. But then you have to know what happiness is and not do it, do the wrong thing and think you got happiness going on. And then you can vibrate. Your vibration raises, and then you can stay in that. And according to Augie here, he says happiness is of the mind, not the body. And that's what you were talking about, those hormones in you women, especially. Get a flow in there, and then you think you're
Yeah.
happy because of the hormones are flowing. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh man, same with the guys. The guys do have the same
I
thing,
guess it is a survival thing, right? Because if we
Yes.
didn't have all those hormones and all that stuff, there wouldn't be any children born, basically.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so we have to have that kind of stuff. Like when you look at animals, like when like I say, a cat, when she gives birth, those hormones are flowing, and that she could even adopt, another species baby just
Yeah.
because of those hormones. If she didn't have those hormones going, she would have eaten the thing. So it is a survival thing, right? These hormones. So that
Mhm.
we all get together, and procreate essentially.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
but yeah, it's too bad that we don't know these things when we're young. Unfortunately, when we're, falling in love and doing all these things, and when, we're in our early 20s usually when we're trying to make probably the most important decision of your life to try and find a life partner. And
Mhm.
you're only in your 20s. You
Yes.
don't even know anything yet. So I know this is why there's so many divorces,
Well,
unfortunately.
and I think you've come up with a good thing there. Um, and okay, we're gonna remove this for a minute. Can you go to page 109 on that? Find 109, and I'll talk about this for a second.
109. Well, I'll
Yeah.
be scrolling for a bit.
Yeah. Well, that's why I put it to the
Let's see
side.
if I should be able to put it in here, like
Well, well,
109.
here's what I'm gonna say about you were
Yeah.
talking about arranged marriages.
Uh-huh.
And back in the day, see, they eliminated all that. They thought instead of having the kids running around, they live far apart or this or that,
Yeah.
let's, skip all of that. They don't have to find love. Like you said, you get an arranged marriage and
Yeah.
eventually you kind of end up, well, either you're going to hate them or love them or you're going to deal with them and it's going to be one or the other. Now, it's like this. I always described it as I bought a cow, right? And I got the milk. Okay, now I know what the milk tastes like. But and then I bought another cow, but was that cow? And then that cow's milk, it wasn't quite as good as the first cow's milk, or maybe it was better. Now the second, so I got rid of the first cow because the second cow's milk. Pretty soon I got a whole herd of cows. I went through a whole bunch of cows, and each time I get some different milk, and boy, that milk is sweeter. And that one, well, shoot, what? What's the difference between the first cow and the last cow you bought? It's milk, right? But you keep getting rid of a cow because you think the next one's going to have the better milk.
Yeah.
And really, it's just milk. I
Well,
mean,
that's the thing. So I think it's almost better to honestly to look at it as a business deal.
yeah.
Because you're together, you want to have a family, you got the house, you got the things, and you don't worry about all these hormone things because I don't think it works out too well, because, it's human nature. We're always wondering, like always looking over the fence, right? What's the neighbor got? Oh, well, his grass is greener than mine, right? And
Yeah.
that's our nature. We're always looking for something better or something. We get bored, and whatever it is, right? And when we're young, we're not thinking about the future at all.
Yeah. That's
At
right.
all.
You just
So
jump head first.
yeah. So I don't
Well,
know. So so it almost was easier back in the day because you didn't have to worry about it. Once you're married, that's it. There is no divorce. Right.
yes,
There is no such thing.
that's
And that's
right.
the thing. And like I'm looking at, because I love looking at the old movies from the 1500s and stuff, where everybody has their own bedroom, especially the rich people, right? They always do. Like you don't even see your husband that much. Like, not really. Like he's paying all the bills and whatever, but you got your whole the wing over here. You got
Mhm.
all your friends. You got your own life. That's the thing. You're making yourself happy, doing the things you like to do. He's doing the same thing over there, but you're still tied together as a family, but you can't rely on that guy to make you happy because that's
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Yes,
So
exactly.
it almost seems to me it would have been better off just that way. I don't
Yep.
know.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, and what does that create once they decided all this divorce stuff? and dating and crap. Now you got a bunch of single people, and you got a bunch of unhappy people, and people feel rejected. And Lucky says, "What does milk or he says, what is equating cows to love?" And I'm saying is
I know
because
I was gonna go there too, because there is this saying that once you've tasted the milk, you're probably not going to buy the cow, then, are you?
well, exactly.
Right, so this is one of those things where women like to not give it away too quickly, right? So,
Well,
but then
yeah,
we
and
could say too, like once we've had a little sausage, we're not going to buy the whole pig, then, are we? Right? So,
that's right.
it goes both ways, that one. But
it is exactly. But see, that's the whole thing. Why buy the cow, or why stick with one cow when the next cow might have that sweeter milk? I mean, I guess that's the way to look at it too. And then you finally, after all of them, then you think, well, which one was the best? I don't know.
because you're looking for happiness, right? All of a sudden,
Yes.
no, you're not really. I'm not happy right now, so it's got to be your fault. So I'm
Yeah.
going to go and look at this other person's because that person's going to make me. That's what it all comes down to. It all boils down to that. I'm not
Yeah.
happy, so I got to look. I'm not going to look at myself, of course. I'm going to
Yeah.
be looking at everybody around me, and I'm going to blame it on them. That's why I'm not happy. And
Yeah.
so we want to leave that situation then. And that's what it is. And it's too easy to do nase. Back
Yes.
in the day, you couldn't. There was no such thing.
Yeah. It was
So,
real
and women
difficult.
would be shunned. I mean, you won't survive, honestly, if you did that. So there was none of that. So that's another problem. I'm looking at the word problem that we have in society now. And it's all instant gratification too nowadays.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I really feel sorry for the young people. They've got to be so confused. And then never mind this whole gender thing and all this other bullshit that's in there now that they got to deal with. Honestly, I wouldn't want to be a youth in today's society. No.
Yeah. Yeah. And that brings us up to our next subject.
Okay.
And that is on page 10925. And I think you got it here. And that is the problem. Well, I guess this is the only channel you can turn to that has porn on that talks about cows, milk, sausage, and pigs, right?
Yeah, it's a variety show, people. Okay, that's why I have 18 plus down in the thing for my thing, because just you never know what comes out of this mouth. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know if YouTube will catch any of that stuff. It's code words for us old people,
Yeah.
Kids would be like, milk comes from cows? Sausage comes from pigs? What? I never knew that. Anyway.
And we laugh at that, but there's actually people that actually wonder that. So yeah. But
Chocolate milk comes from dark colored cows, right? Must be. You got to get that chocolate milk cow. I mean, I knew people who actually thought that. Oh, I remember one time
as a kid we thought that, obviously, right?
I was taught in school there. They said that the chocolate milk. I forget who was telling me. It says the chocolate milk came from the
brown cow.
It was the burnt milk or something like that.
The burnt. So you don't want that. I see.
Oh my God! What the fudge? Anyway, the problem. I'll take this one. If you have a problem, and like I said, we transition from love to happiness to
now we got a problem.
Yes, exactly, and that's usually what happens nowadays. And sorry, Augie, I am going backwards in your book. We're going from the back to the front because that's how my mind works. And I'm putting all this together. There's always a reason for my.
Yeah. That's all right. It's your show. You can do whatever you want.
It's fun this way. Well, it's like people who read from the Bible. They'll pick one from the front and one from the back, and then put it all together like it's a whole sentence. And I'm thinking, no, wait a minute. These things were written, centuries apart, and you're trying to say that this could be like one paragraph. Like what? It almost sounds like one person saying it. I'm tossing that stuff out, people. Anyway, listen to this. Okay. If you have a problem, what do? I suggest the first thing you do is to quit calling it a problem. That is serious stuff. If you absolutely have to label it, call it a challenge, conundrum, puzzle. Give thanks for it. You are going to learn a lot from going through it. A challenge is something you have not found the solution to yet. There is not a challenge in the universe that cannot be solved, bringing you something good in the end, corrected or repaired. It is only a matter of how and when. Remember, your challenge may be a good thing and have a purpose. It may teach you something that may help you avoid a real problem later. There are ups and downs in all of physical life. You have not experienced unhappiness. How would you know how to recognize happiness? And that is true. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we just talked about falling in love and the
Yeah.
happiness, and then all of a sudden you're divorcing and you're sitting there thinking, well, I thought I was happy and now I'm not. And I guess you just didn't recognize it. You didn't recognize lust. And I think that's what happens is people, and then you stay or whatever, or you buy something. I know people who, I've done it myself. I get something that I thought I really wanted. I bought something really expensive and I got it and I loved it. And then now it sits in the corner collecting dust.
Mm-hmm.
Or I got
Yeah.
that new pair of shoes that was the
Yeah.
latest fad and loved it for like 2 weeks
Mm.
and now I don't. And
Right. And that kind of happens with relationships too, right?
yes,
When you
but
first get together, you want to be together all the time, right? And then
yeah,
then the novelty wears off after a while, right?
yes, and that it is. It's
So
that novelty, and then you have to be happy. And here the thing is,
right,
he's talking about recognizing the problem,
right.
and then how do you recognize happiness? But see, I think you have to really experience. That's what we're here for, is to experience some of that, so
Mm-hmm.
you can recognize it. Because I think in the spiritual world, on the other side, if you're a spirit and you're on the other side, and the space over there is like a loving space, at least that's what we're told,
Mm-hmm.
and well, then how would you recognize anything else? Anything else would feel like poison over there, I guess. So you wouldn't want even experiencing, because the world around you is just love frequency. uh, um
Yeah, I know. Well, the last sentence that it said here, if you haven't experienced anything, how would you, like, if you haven't experienced hot, how would you know what cold is, and vice versa, right? All this kind of thing. So,
mhm.
you got to experience some unhappiness in order to recognize when you do have happiness
Yeah,
as well. So,
well, yeah,
yeah,
exactly. um Here he says in next page 110, it is really difficult situation where you have been trying to manifest a good solution for a while. I would try this. Go into meditation. See, everything is always about going into like some kind of meditation so you can allow your mind to think.
yeah, you got
Um,
to go within because
because
it's
yeah,
you that has to work on it, not somebody else. Yeah.
yeah, and a lot of people don't. They just,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many people go say to the news. They turn on the TV, they look at the news, and they see the headline, and oh my God, their day is either ruined or they rejoice, one or the other, because they read the headline. They didn't even
Mhm,
read the article. They don't know what it's about. They just go, oh my gosh, look at that,
mhm,
catastrophe in Australia. Oh my God, there was a catastrophe. They don't even know what it is. What is
mhm,
it?
mhm,
Um, anyway, and so go to meditation. Fill yourself with the bright white color of love. Visualize the challenge neatly wrapped up in a package with a bow on it. Say or think something like, God, universal consciousness in me, I have tried everything I can think of to solve this. And then, of course, you name what you need to solve. I show my trust in the universal consciousness, so this challenge will be solved to the best of all concerned. Visualize the package and hold it up as you would release a bird. Then see it fly away and say, thank you for helping me solve this challenge. And see, I think that's what a lot of people don't do, is they don't think like that. They just act and they react. And
mhm.
their problems never get solved because they never stop to think about the challenge. They never stop to think about their problem. They just you know,
Mm-hmm.
go with it. And wow, look at that. Let's see. Oh, Veronica stopped in. Veronica Bartonoli, thank you for coming all the way from Arizona. And Max Visions here too from Canada. And Augie says Oxycontin is killing people by the millions. Yes. And so anyway, yeah, that's a thing. People take stuff for their physical body, and then it ruins them.
Yeah,
Anyway,
the Oxycontin is actually no longer on the market.
really,
Yeah, they took that off. They realized it was such a problem. The problem that we have now is fentanyl.
yeah.
That
Thing is,
one's killing people left, right, and center. Like,
yeah, all they do
uh,
is do, they jump from one to another and oh,
yeah.
Rihanna Star 85 all the way from Mississippi. Thank you for coming tonight. We got some new people in here. Thank you all for coming. Um, it's been a great. Anyway, like I said, we are discussing tonight for everybody a little bit of this book, and we're going through pages of it that we haven't read the whole thing through on Nina's channel. But on the 19th, Augie will be there, and we'll be asking him questions on this book. So be ready, Augie. We got some. I got a list of hard ones for you. Okay, let's stop this one, and we're gonna go to page 84.
Oh, okay.
Yes, go to 84.
84.
Yeah, chapter 18. And then, but anyway, yeah, the problems, we need to learn how to solve our problems. That is the big thing. People don't want to, I think they want, here's the thing. I think for centuries or thousands of years, people been looking for somebody to solve their problems, a savior. That's why they go to this religion stuff. They want somebody to solve their problems. They don't want to look inside themselves and solve their own problem. They don't want to let universal consciousness help them. They don't want to let, say what it is. They just want somebody to swoop down with the magic wand and twirl it around and make it all go away.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go, wow, look at that, problem solved. But instead, it dwells on them and they become depressed, and it creates all kinds of other problems. And of course, like you said, they get on Oxycontin and drugs and fentanyl and things like that, and to solve their problem. And yeah, for a small bit of time, it may make your problem go away, but it ruins your life. It destroys you. It may even kill you. How is that? And speaking of that, we're going to segue into this next one. You want to read this one since I read the last?
This is 18.
Yeah, 18. This kind of segues into the fentanyl thing, self-inflicted harm.
Awesome. All right. Yeah. Let's see
Augie
here.
wrote the book backwards. I'm doing it backwards. I love it.
All right. So, self-inflicted harm is created by ourselves. To the proportionate degree we believe we are separated from the universal Father / universal consciousness, and that we are mortal. Do not expect the people in the cults of government or religion to enlighten the people to the principles of spiritual truth. It would undermine their power and purse. Even if they purse.
Yes, purse. Money.
Even if they knew, they would not tell, right? When you have uncluttered the connection, you have opened up a channel from the conscious mind to the subconscious mind, by which you can have two flat way flow of information and communication with the super conscious mind, which is always connected to the universal consciousness. Knowing you are truth and universal consciousness, you can remove the apparent cohesive power of the illusion hologram, which is manifested in what you see around you. You can do this by infusing strong emotional energy of love into the thought form you want altered and transmuted, removed, and know it is done. This includes disease, poverty, or evil, error, unhappiness, or any other thing or concept you may want to have changed. Some healers do this even without even knowing it, how it works. Healing is often open up to you in stages as you grow. Visualization and the power of the mind is very powerful.
Yes, very, very true. And that's just what we're talking about. You got cults, which being in any religion is kind of a cult.
Hmm.
And regardless of how you want to look at it, it's still a cult. People who get
Yeah,
together and do the same thing.
yeah,
Anyway, in government, religion, but people believe in them, and then they go out and do things, and they think they will solve their problems. I mean, how many laws does government make every year? And they keep adding up, and they never take laws away. They always keep adding on. So eventually, what, you can't even walk down the street because, well, there's a law against that.
well, that's how it's getting. Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
You just wait till all the surveillance is in, and don't think that this whole passport thing and all this is all gone.
Hmm. Yeah, it's just
It's
on the back.
coming. You just
It's on
wait.
the Yeah, it's on the back burner for a while.
So, yeah,
Yeah. See, Augie says it right here, and he's getting right at what we're talking about. Our soul doesn't need saving. We do that. That's right. We have to look inside ourselves. But that's what most people don't even think about it. They just want to look outside of themselves for the
yeah.
answers, and they want to, you need to tap into the inside of yourself. Do that meditation. Ask
Mhm.
yourself, go to the universal conscious. So take that and just throw it out there, and the answer will come back to you maybe in a dream or while you're sleeping, or one of these days you just, hey, I got that idea. I think we've all had that epiphany when you go, wow, I just realized something. you know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, quite often, when I'm doing my cards, the card will be, look for signs, look for symbols. Like the answers come in many different forms. You just have to be open to receive them and
Yes.
recognize them as
Yeah.
such.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
And when you open yourself up to those things, then um, you're opening that doorway to that universal consciousness that will help you out and will make you a better person, and things like that. And that's what I think people kind of forget about. They forget about what they can do for themselves. I
Yeah.
think
Well,
years
that's
ago.
what religion has done, right? Because before religion came in, we were doing this, okay, as pagans.
Hmm.
Then religion came and literally, would behead us if we didn't convert to their thing, and got us in there. And religion is all about that. It's all about, oh, come to us. We have the answers. Oh, because the original church was the Catholic, right? So,
Hmm.
you just say your 500 Hail Marys, give me some money, and you're all good with the whole sin thing, right? You can just go off and start sinning again. Now come back next Sunday, give me your money, you're all good. Like it was just a big cash grab, right? And
Yeah,
people
yeah,
are going there because rather than working on themselves and stop sinning, right? Instead of don't be, stealing and doing whatever it is that you're doing. Oh, I can just continue doing that, and then I'll just go to the church and I'll just pay them the little things, and I'm all good now. I'm all
yep.
good. You see?
I mean, and the thing is it's really never stopped. I mean, the more I read about stuff, I got this really cool old book I bought on the internet. I love old books,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be doing a review of this. This here is The Wisdom of the Egyptians. It's
Mm,
from 1923. And so
okay.
I was reading in there today a little bit, and it was talking about, and I think I'll do a show on this, so I'm not going to really dive into it too hard, but it was talking about, who is the average Egyptian? What were they like? Who were they?
Mhm.
Well, and as the guy described it, he literally, if you wouldn't have said Egyptian, you could just say it's your everyday average American person, the likes to, go to work. They're rarely happy, like sports. They believe in, they pray, morning and night once in a while, trying to get through life. They pay their taxes. They like to farm their fields, and, just they don't want to go to war. They just like their area. They just want to be left alone and at peace. And I'm thinking, well, that just sounds like an everyday person today. They just want to go
Yeah.
do their job, have a little garden, live their life out, on the weekends, have a little entertainment. And, if you're a religious person, you go to church on Sunday or something. But, and if not, well, then, you do whatever you need to do there. But I'm just saying is they sounded just like us. And what's changed
Have
over
you ever?
thousands of years?
Right, I know. Have you ever seen the I don't know if it's movie or whatever it is, Jones Plantation?
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you gotta that kind of explains it in a short little cartoon kind of movie, if you
Mm-hmm.
will, about how we're still slaves.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They just manipulate it into a different way.
Yeah.
Because we
Now
still are, right? We're going to the
now we're
job,
just
right? It's just that actually we're being treated worse now because they don't take care of us anymore now. We don't get medical and dental. We don't get, at least when you had a slave back in the day, you'd be room and board and they will take care of you because they wanted you to, so that you could work more,
yeah.
right? Now they just, you're done for the day. See you later. You got to fend for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we have it worse now than we did when we were slaves on the plantation. Like,
Yeah. Well,
so
and
this
that
movie really kind of puts it in perspective. Like
that
it's
exactly. That is
and this is why we're not happy. That's the thing. We're not meant to be working or like we are. Like especially back in the day, it used to be normal to work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. Right? Sunday was the only day you're off, and then you have to go to church. They made sure that we were so busy that we didn't have any time to do any of this kind of reading and meditating and figuring things out.
yeah.
That's why they did that. It was all designed that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And even nowadays, okay, so our workday may have gone down to 8 hours, but now everything is so expensive that we need 2, 3 jobs now.
Yeah.
You see? So nothing has changed, guys. Okay. It's just in a different format, mix it up a little bit. But ultimately, we're just being kept so busy between work and then all the chores we got to do when we get home, right? Because everything's got to be perfect, house perfect, the yard's perfect. Like that's all we do until we literally stoop into bed at night and get up and do it all over again.
Yep.
So that's why we're not happy because we have no time to ourselves.
We don't. We really don't. I mean,
No.
if you add up, we could do a whole show on that. But with that, why can you get to page 150? And we're going to go back to see how we segue to the.
I'm at 86. So we're not. We're done with the healing. Okay.
Yeah, page 150.
150.
We see, it's amazing how we segue through it. So how did we get to this spot? How are we the slaves? And some way working backwards through this book has been a lot better because it has brought us back to square one. Instead of going from square one on to the end, we went from the end to the square one, and it's related. We're back to here being the slave, and the slave race, and
150.
page 150,
Okay.
and what it is, I instead of being a slave by one owner now we get to pick which owner owns us.
Right.
And then if we get hired on by that owner, then he pays us, and he don't have to board us. He doesn't have to do all these things. We do it on our own, and we literally all that money that owner has given us, we spend on the stuff,
on shelter, room and board,
room and board and stuff. So now we provide our own.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to, which eliminates a lot off of them. But the problem is that what we do is if you make $20,000 a year, and I'm kind of referring to a friend of mine, and so he makes $20,000, but he has a house, he has a car, he has food, he has electric, and he has a telephone, he has all the things that I have. Now I make 5 times as much as him, but I have a house, I have a car, I have food, I have a phone, I have electricity, I have all those things. And yet I'm no richer than he is sometimes. How is that possible?
Because whatever we make, we'll adjust the bills accordingly.
Yeah, exactly. Right? That's the whole point.
We're very good at that. It's just that your house might be a little bit bigger, but it's going to be more money, more hydro, more everything, right? Now you probably got a car loan, and all these things, and yeah, people just adjust their salary according, the bills
Yeah.
according to the, yeah.
And so we're all, that's the thing. That's why 90% of the people can't get out of the hole.
Hmm.
They can't get ahead. They're stuck in that, round and round trail all the time, round and round and round, because
Yeah.
uh, they live to their means, and they, should be saving. Well, how come I can't live like him? Well, then again, I look at it and go, why do I would want to live like him? He's eating macaroni cheese and I'm eating steak because I can, you know. But it's
Hmm.
still food, and he's still alive. He's still moving around, Well, so am I.
Hmm.
It's a lot to it, and that could be a whole other.
Yeah, well, it has to do with comfort now, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, it's the comfort.
so,
I have a better car than he
and
does.
hopefully, if you're
He's
making
got a
that
car, but
much,
I got a better one.
yeah, or at least maybe hopefully you're saving up for old age and all this, that
Hmm.
the rest of us who are doing paycheck to paycheck, we don't have that luxury,
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
So I remember when I
exactly.
was working too, by the time everything was taken off, like there wasn't that much left. Like half of what I made went to rent, you
Yeah,
know,
and
and
that's the
that's
thing.
not fancy even either. Like, yeah, it's just gotten so expensive. Never mind retirement. Like, it's scary. So,
Yeah.
but that's the way they set it up, right? So all the money goes to them. We got nothing, right? And
Hmm.
I hate to tell you, but they kind of set it up so that we wouldn't reach retirement age. That's not going to benefit them.
No.
And I seen that with my family, like, because 3 generations ago, we were living to about 106, quite often, to 99, stuff like that. My mom's generation, the baby boomers,
Yeah. Mm.
the oldest will be 69, I think. Yeah, so far.
Wow.
Everybody's dying of cancer. Everybody. And you can't tell me that that's not from the medicines that we were giving as children into our arm, right?
Yep. Yeah.
You remember that big scar there that baby boomers have?
Yep.
Round one, that one there. And I have seen it. Somebody mentioned that, yeah, there was deliberately put cancer things in there. So it's just a ticking time bomb
Yep.
as of when you're going to get it, but you're going to get it. And for sure, you're going to get it before you reach retirement age, because they don't want to be giving you the pension.
That's right.
They have
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
intentions of giving you pensions or any of that stuff. So I hate to tell you, that's what they've done to us. Okay.
Hmm.
So, make us just sick enough that they can make money off of us, and not so sick though that we can't work for them, right? But just
That's
enough
right.
that we rely on the pharmaceuticals and rely on all their, stuff that
And
they.
we live long enough that we still have that hope of retirement, so that when we do get to that age, we retire, and then just like you said, they die off at 69. Well, retirement's at what, 65 or
We had
67?
4, yeah. So my uncle had 4 years. My
Yeah.
mom died at 62. She never made it to that. Her sister, who was the healthy one, the one that spent like a lot of money on herself, everything organic, exercise, everything was just so with her. She barely made it to 60.
Wow.
So that's how it's been going in our family. The other aunt's got MS, right?
Oh,
All these
yeah.
autoimmune diseases and all this. We didn't have that 2 generations ago. Prior to that, they all lived long. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So it's very evident to me that we were compromised at some points, for sure. Never mind the
Exactly.
fluoride in the water and all these other stuff, right? But yeah, anyways,
Exactly.
that's not where the show was going, but that's where it went. But
Sometimes it just takes a little bit of a turn.
I
But
know. Yeah, it
let's
irks
see.
me when I think of it because, like, yeah, but what do you do?
Okay, we're gonna skip down to where it says "Let me recap," and
Oh,
because
which maybe
obviously we don't
this
want to
is
go through.
150.
Yes, right there, just right there. Let me recap. Um, go up a little. There you go. Let me recap a bit.
Oh, there. Okay.
Okay, and because the rest of earlier he's talking about Adam and Enki and Enlil and Nibru and millions of years ago, and who created
Mm,
mankind, and I think we all have our idea who created mankind or whatever, in some shape, way, or form. But we're just going to go to the recap bit and move right on.
mm,
Okay, and it says here, let me recap a little bit. extraterrestrials live on a planet called Nibiru, which has an
Nibiru.
orbit. Huh? Nibiru?
Nibiru.
Nibiru.
Yeah.
Nibiru. 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 Yeah. Okay. Psych. Everybody says it differently.
Yeah.
Nibiru, yes. Cycle of 3,600 years around our sun. Their orbit extends out into the dark space far beyond the planet Pluto. They orbit around the sun between the fourth and fifth planet, where the asteroid belt is. Their orbit is slanted 30 degrees up, coming into the solar system. They landed 445,000 years ago in Southeast Africa and created a colony they called Eden.
Mm.
They created the atom, and there were humans. They told the humans that they were their gods. They explained that they are space travelers from the 12th planet of the sun named Sol, of which we are the third planet from the inside. We may ask how they can live on the planet that travels so far out into space where there is no light and heat. Well, they live on the inside of the planet in a big cavern. The planet is 4 to 5 times as big as Earth, so there is lots of room. In recorded history of the Sumerian clay tablets, there is much enlightenment about our history and where we come from. The Book of Jubilee is explaining the explosion of Adam, and Eve from the Garden of Eden. Expulsion. It states that Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden and went home to the land of nativity, their creation. That means that if they left Eden and went home to Abzu, a place in South Africa or eastern South Africa. In the second Jubilee, it states that Adam knew his wife. In the Sumerian language, knew meant to have sex. Oh boy, here we go back to the sexual. In the third week of the second Jubilee, Eve gave birth to Cain. Later, she bore Abel. In the fifth Jubilee, it is stated that she had a daughter named her Awa. The records of the Bible, which were copied from older historical records, states that they were on to have many sons and daughters. Older Sumerian and Babylonian records speak of Adam and Eve, the Adam Shava having 63 children.
Wow.
Credible older Sumerian writings and archaeological findings place the start of humanity not in Eden but in Abzu in southeast Africa, 250 to 270,000 years ago. It has become accepted that the place that the Bible speaks of as Eden and the Sumerian Eden is the same place. The Syrians, Babylonians speak of it as Indu. Yeah. The Sumerian king list explains the rulers on Earth were since the alien race of Anunnaki landed in South Africa 445,000 years ago. It explains that they were alone for 144,000 years before they, accordingly to the Sumerian clay tablets, historical records created the atom as a primitive worker. And here's where we get to the slave part. Boy,
Mm-hmm.
how it all soups together.
Mm-hmm.
The primitive worker. The Bible refers to Adam in Genesis, the exact same term as the Sumerian tablets. Studies of DNA from bones found in South Africa, East Africa, place and Eve there some 200,000 to 250,000 years ago. Okay, and then we can go on. It just talks about years and years. When we study the Sumerian records, we find Adam being created 301,000 years ago. The records show Adam and his kind worked as laborers, slaves, for a good long time for the master race, the Anunnaki, gods, before Eve was created. It became a necessity to create Eve because Adam was unhappy and troublesome. Find an old historical document called the Epic of Atrahasis and read the rest of the story. I'm getting it pretty accurate. Okay, so as you know, see, it says, well, if Adam and Eve were in Eden, and even if you read the Bible, well, if Adam and Eve were in Eden and it was a garden, well, if you're in the garden and it says Adam was there to tend the garden, well, a garden, and when you have a garden, it's usually an area, a fenced in area.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're tending the garden, which means you're a worker. It's simple as that. People playing
Oh yeah.
nose on
Yeah.
my face. And then it
No,
says
that's
they were
exactly.
laborers.
And I think that's why we're so easily led, and we're so easily herded the way we are, because we were literally bred for this. That's
Yes.
why they treat us the way they do, because that's all we are.
Yes.
We're just
Exactly.
they made us. They
Yeah.
figure they own us,
And then when Adam got to be
so,
unhappy and troublesome, what did he do?
right?
He created
Start getting
Eve to make
tired, yeah,
the happy.
lonely,
Yeah,
the
he's
lonely
lonely,
boy over there.
and then we're back to
Yeah,
the milk and the cow and sausage.
right.
And
So
but anyway, the point is as literally they gave Adam something else to think about, and then they said, hey, now now he can be concerned with this too, and he won't be so concerned. He'll be going to work
and
because
not only that, but why should we keep making more when we can just make them procreate and make themselves?
yeah, exactly. You gotta
Go ahead and have, well,
self-replicating.
that's what the Catholic Church, go and multiply, be fruitful, go on
Yes,
now, my little slaves, go
yes,
on now, right? So,
yes.
and that's what we're done. Yeah.
Exactly, and it says, in there too that you're going to be the keepers of the earth, you know, yada
Hmm.
yada yada. But anyway, that's I can't quote word for word, but it's the
Yeah,
whole point of it.
that's pretty much what it says in here. Yeah. The
And we
Bible
are
kind of
slaves.
took the old stories from South Africa, and I've heard that if you follow Michael Tellinger's stuff,
Yeah.
he's got
Hmm.
some really good stuff in there. I studied a lot of his stuff. I got his book and stuff like that, and he's actually in South Africa, so you can see he's gone to all these different sites and whatever, and it does seem like that's where it originated, and they
Hmm.
have that exact story. And there's other places too around the world that sort of have sort of the same kind of story to it. But the
Yes.
sky daddy, he said he's going to come back. We're still waiting for him. That's why we're always looking up to the sky, wondering when they're coming back, right? So
Well,
it's in
well,
our
that
DNA.
that and the thing is we were brought here from the sky, people.
Yeah.
And all our information and the knowledge has always come from people from the sky. I mean, it's just and who knows if we're actually even inventing things now. All our information may have still come from the sky. We just, as the common folk, don't know it.
Hmm.
But as I've been reading, every time society got upgraded, like with Thoth or Hermes, or
Hmm.
when you go to South America, you got Quetzalcoatl. These people
Hmm.
came from the sky. They came from nowhere and brought
Hmm.
knowledge. They came from up there and they brought knowledge, and society flourished.
Hmm.
And now we're flourishing right now. So the question is did we invent all this, or did this come from the sky people too, and we just haven't been told?
Yeah, so I'm just it's coming to me here now. So when you were reading earlier, Sul actually means sun.
Yes.
Um, and so that's interesting that they're saying they're coming from the sun, because I've heard that too. And actually, when you read the Bible, Jesus does say, no one comes to the Father but through the Son.
Yeah, there's a lot of could the
You
could the
know,
sun be a portal?
could the
Could they?
Son be the portal to the Father? Yeah, I think there is more to the Son than we realize.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so much we don't understand. Heck, how many of us can really actually say that the people went to the moon, accurately and with confidence? There's so
Mhm.
many questions because when it first came out, it was like, we're so limited by our planet here. It's like
No,
now,
this is another thing that's, I think, coming to a head now. The whole moon landing. Okay,
yeah,
now that we're at this stage in our development with technologies, we can look back now and say there's no way in hell that equipment made it through the firmament and all, and made it there and back. You can't
yeah,
even store that much fuel to get you. It's a one-way ticket if you were
hmm,
gonna. So now that we know, so their stories are now, we're getting to a point now, I think, in our evolution here, that they're going to have to do something drastic, because we're
hmm,
all looking, we're like, excuse me, but there's no way.
Yeah.
Even us regular folks are noticing. Like, we don't have to be a rocket science to look at that stuff and look at that. There's just no way that made it up there,
I know. I know.
right?
Isn't it amazing? Yeah, I
So,
know.
yeah, I mean, we may have believed it in '69, I guess, because we didn't have anything then, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, they're gonna have to do something. That's why it's coming to a head, I think, because we just gotten to that point now
So I
where.
went to Washington D.C. there, and I went to the Aero Space Museum type thing, and they
Mhm,
had the space shuttle and some of the equipment and things like that.
mhm.
Um, but the problem, I looked at this stuff and I'm thinking, this space shuttle is ginormous. I mean, it's ginormous. I mean, I couldn't believe how big it is. And yet these little capsules and things were so small and tin. It looked like tin cans, and
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
thinking,
I know.
what?
It looks like a 10-year-old could like build that now. How advanced we've gotten, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, now
exactly.
it's just looking pathetic. It's what are you guys gonna do now to try and cover this up?
And the thing is even
Um,
if they did get to the moon, okay, let's just say for the benefit of doubt they did get to the moon.
mhm.
You know, I think there's been societies and civilizations that have went there before. And I think there's still people. I think there's aliens or something up there and make a great spot to spy on the Earth. Who knows? I mean, is the moon
Yeah,
hollow? I mean, there's all these questions. I mean, who hasn't looked at the moon, or for hundreds of years they've seen flashing lights on the moon.
mhm.
It's not a
Yeah.
conspiracy theory.
No, we've seen
Go
a
to
lot of
Bruce Sees
activity.
All or something like that, and
Yeah.
he's got. Then there was the moon wave where it looks like this illusion thing going over the top of the moon. I mean, you got to wonder is the moon that we look at a hologram of something else, and there's really a planet there? I mean, good
Yeah,
question.
we don't quite know where it is, but apparently, yeah, it got brought in at some point. It wasn't here originally, and um, we've had this footage where something dropped on it and it rang like a bell.
Yeah.
We could hear it like a bell, so it seems like it's metal and hollow. So yeah, there's probably all kinds of activity going on inside there. Now I
Hmm.
don't know. See, it does affect the Earth though. So I work with the moon thing all the time,
Hmm.
and the tides and so it does definitely affect us here on the Earth.
Hmm.
But how it all is, I don't know. I don't have
Yeah.
all the answers,
Well,
obviously.
and I don't think we're us common folk are going to be allowed to have the answers.
Well, we will,
Um,
I think, soon. One of these days. Like, I think we will. I think it's gonna
someday,
come out. Yeah,
maybe.
I'm
But
hoping.
yeah, well, we all that's all we can do is really hope for that, because like it says, we should. The in India they talk about these vimanas. We've been seeing spacecraft fly over
Mhm,
places for hundreds of years. There's pictures. There's pictures of paintings that people drew with UFO looking things in them.
mhm,
They drew that stuff for a reason, and they kind of hid it. And now that
mhm.
we're getting into that technology, we can point it out and spot that kind of stuff. Um, so this stuff has been around. It's not new. The thing is, that technology has been in the hands of somebody else and not us. We are basically, like you said, we are still the slaves. We're here to work and make products. And you got to wonder, with all the stuff that people make, we're all individualized. And I always quite wonder about this, and I want your take on this. So everybody goes to work, right? They
Mhm.
work, they make a product, they make a little part. Maybe you make a little plastic piece at a factory or a spring thing, or maybe you just make pens. Maybe you make a thing, or you make cell phones, but they make millions and millions and millions of these cell phones. Well, or whatever part you're making. Where does that all go? Do you think us consumers consume all of that stuff? Or maybe those we're trading with other planets? Maybe those people come here and say, "Hey, we're going to load up our spaceship," and just, we'll never know, and,
Yeah,
and we're going to trade you
exactly.
this little piece of technology we're going to give you this little computer chip, but you're going to give us X amount of stuff for, you know, 500 years or something, you know, and this will change your society, kind of deal. And I don't know, but what a good trade-off that would be.
I'm sure there's all kinds of trading going on, you know, but I think the sad part is that I think we are the commodity that's being traded a lot of times. Human trafficking, right? We might be traded off planet. We might be all kinds of things. So,
where did the missing people go? You know how many missing people go missing every year around the world? You know, hundreds of hundreds
I know.
to
I was
thousands of
thinking
people.
about this earlier today because I was I had an interview with Karen Holton there, and she was mentioning in there somehow that she thinks that the elites are actually disposing their chemical waste through us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're actually filtering it out in our own bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So they're putting it into our food. We filter it out, and that's how they get rid of their, you know, and that's what they did with the fluoride. That's literally a waste, a hazardous waste that they didn't know what to do with. Well, what are we going to do? Oh, let's just put it into the human water filter. We'll let the humans filter it out. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I had an epiphany in the bathroom earlier today, thinking about this, and with the missing people. Yeah, where are all the bodies? Where did the bodies go from all these missing people? Well, they could be trafficked out and all that kind of stuff too. But I think those who do perish, I do believe we're filtering them out in our system, just like we do with all the other wastes, into our food. And I've heard this, there was this Jewish guy that was explaining how, it goes right into the McDonald's. McDonald's is one of the biggest places where they get rid of all the bodies.
Yeah. Well,
we're literally eating it and pooping it back out. So we're, it's so disgusting. And I hope I'm wrong in that, but makes you wonder for sure.
Well, look at these people that go missing, especially where you live in British Columbia area there, right? You know how many people go missing in that part of the country? I mean, literally gone.
Well, it's not just here, but any national park, apparently, there's a lot of just vanishings.
Yes.
Yeah. Why? I don't know. There could be portals out there in the forest. There could be all kinds of things going on, or they're just being snatched up.
Yeah,
just being snatched up for human trafficking and whatever, right? So who knows?
Well, yeah, is it human trafficking on other planets? Because when these people, like these hunters, they'll go out hunting, and they'll get snatched up, and they don't find their equipment, they don't find their backpack, their gun, they don't find their
whole thing,
clothing, their belts, their shoes. When you're a hunter, a lot of that stuff you're wearing is leather or it's heavy.
Even if you got eaten up, you would still find remnants of that stuff. You're right.
Yeah.
So it's very evident that they're just being snatched up, just as is. The whole thing, or taken. Just taken. I know. It's
gone.
Yeah. I know. There's a lot of things going on, guys, that we don't know about, but we're starting to kind of wonder here and putting pieces together. And
so that's the question. Are those people from the planet, the near Bureau, they coming by every now and then, snatching up so many people to take back to their planet to be workers? I mean, could be.
And another thing too, the whole the blood bank thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, we don't need as much blood as what they're bringing in. That blood is going somewhere else.
Yeah. Where's it going?
Right. Where's it going? So there is this tales of vampires and whatever, these people that I guess if they're from a different planet, they probably have a different digestion system and they need different nutrients. And from the sounds of it, our blood might be something that they like. And so I've heard somebody, and I don't know if this is true, that there was a deal made that, hey, we're going to stop hunting you guys that they used to do if you guys just give us the blood from the blood bank. So
yeah, I agree. It's always about the blood. Augie says the extraterrestrials are here walking among us, and that's the thing. They probably are. We wouldn't know it. How would you know that guy down the street is an extraterrestrial or whatever? especially
I mean,
the
I've
elite.
seen these masks that they have now, like the human, like skin type of, like you put that on, you wouldn't even know that they're wearing a mask at all.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really, so it's be very easy. Just put something on and blend in for sure. Oh
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
I mean that is so true. That is so
When you
true. But
think of extraterrestrial, you got to remember that we are part of them. We came from them. So, and it's in the Bible. It says that we were made in His image.
yeah,
So
so
whoever made Anunnaki, whatever you want to call them, right? They obviously look like us, so we look like them. So
mhm,
it would be very natural then for them to blend in
yeah,
here.
and we wouldn't.
So,
We're oblivious to so many
oh,
things.
we're down on the
Oh,
phone. That's another thing, right? Everybody's on their phone. Like I walk around, right, and people are like, I'm like, I gotta stop sometimes and wonder, is she gonna walk right into me? Like they're not looking to see if they can walk. They're not looking for traffic. They're not looking for anything. They're
yeah.
just looking on their phone. So yeah, I mean, there could be a UFO flying over. Nobody would notice a damn thing.
Hmm.
Nothing.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. People aren't observant. They don't
They're a
look up
lot
at the
worse now than they
street.
used to be. Yeah,
Yeah, they're 10
it's
times worse. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Well, anyway, we've had a good hour and a half. Didn't
oh,
even.
that's so much for your short, eh?
Yeah, I was planning. I would be happy if we went for an hour,
You're
but
gonna go short.
we went a long time. Augie, I hope you're ready because come Sunday we're gonna have a lot of questions, and I'm hoping he'll explain some of this extraterrestrials walking among us, maybe some of the moon thing. I'm putting together a list of questions, and I'm sure Nina, you're gonna have yours, and
The
since
audience is welcome to come and bring
yes,
questions.
that
Either email us ahead of time if you like to, or join us in the live chat because that's where it's at, and we'll try and answer as many as we can.
yep.
Um, yeah, so make sure you're subscribed to my channel, Nino the Mystic, and also we'll see you guys on Sunday. Yeah.
Yes, Sunday it'll be great. Augie will be here. It'll be fun. We're gonna have a lot. I mean, if we could talk about cows and milk and sausages and things tonight, and Adam and Eve, and workers and things. Oh my gosh! Can you
You
imagine
never
the
know where it goes. That's the thing. You never know.
what fun we're gonna have on Sunday? It'll be a
Yeah.
blast.
Yeah.
So remember, everybody, go out, read the book, read the PDF if you got it. Go back to our past shows, listen to the readings we did,
Hmm.
like it says, and make your best determinations. Come up with some questions. Be very participant to the audience. It's going to be a lot of fun. And let's see what else. It was just slipped my mind here. Remember, go out and check Nina's stuff out in her merch shop. Get yourself a nice Anakarana shirt, or well, I don't think you got hats,
Get
but
some merch, maybe not hats, but yeah, I do have some Monte Carlo
you
merch if
know,
you want to
yeah.
support
And
independent channels.
oh yeah, and remember the most thing, she does do readings.
That's right.
She is a great card reader,
Yeah.
and she really knows. I swear every time you pull a card for me or something, uh, you always hit the nail on the head every single time.
Oh, awesome. Thank
So
you.
that is
Yeah,
cool.
let's
And one
go
of
to
these
my.
days I'm gonna get a good long hour reading from you, and we're gonna do that. That's gonna be a challenge, but it'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun, and I would like to. I'm thinking I'm gonna do that soon, and I want to record that and share it with the audience and show them just how you do it, because I think a lot of people, I know myself, I'm kind of like leery, like, oh my gosh, what is she going to see, some impersonal things about me, or
Well, I was gonna say,
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
if
I
you
mean,
want
I'm
to share
kind of
with
nervous
the
about it.
audience,
I get
but
kind of nervous. It's like stage fright. So
yeah.
maybe that's the thing. We'll just do that, and it'll be a lot of fun anyway, and we'll share it with everybody. Um,
Well, I was gonna say, I
so,
don't know if you want to share with everybody because sometimes you can get kind of personal,
well,
and that's
I'll clip out the parts. We'll record it.
yeah, you'll just see a little blib
Yes.
here and the blib there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the whole idea of
Yeah,
how it works. But
yeah.
anyway, don't forget that she actually still does do that besides sell merchandise and come on my show, or we do
Right,
readings.
yeah. So go to my
Have
website,
shows.
ninathemystic.net, and you can get, like, I got all kinds of crystal necklaces and sprays, stuff that will, enhance your spiritual walk and just your personal being, and then, of course, readings. Yeah. And then Patreon, if you, want to support the channel, and you are enjoying the hump day, especially, then join up on the Patreon.
Absolutely.
It's access to the secret stream and a private server on Gilded. So there you go.
That's right. Remember, then go out and be the frequency you want to receive, everyone, because that's what it's all about.
Make sure you hit that like before you leave.
Yes, like, share, and subscribe, because we want to touch all the people we possibly can and spread this great message. Thanks, everybody. Peace out. And there we